This video is sponsored by the Design Mechanism, the makers of Mythras. Mythras is a registered trademark of the Design Mechanism Inc., used with permission. All rights reserved. Yeah, I loved that. That was Stingray, wasn't it? Anything can happen.
Stingray, yes. Yeah. Anything can happen in the next 30 minutes.
And it also like goes down. We are about to launch Stingray. Yeah. Oh yeah, she was a bit of a wuss, wasn't she? She was. She was well, that's when it got really silly, when there was a mermaid in it. I mean, it was completely believable up to that point. Captain and...
When she talked, it was like...
Have you heard of Stingray?
No, that's one thing I
have you heard of Thunderbirds? Thunderbirds, the puppets. Captain Scarlet was indestructible.
Hang on, I'm going to stick
crush him.
I'm in the Discord chat for you too.
Oh, okay. So that way we have a reference.
There was a whole load of there was Scarlet, Captain Scarlet, Colonel White, Lieutenant Green, or something like that, and there was the Angels,
Stingray,
who were called. Who? What were the
Angels?
Destiny?
No, Destiny. That's right. It was and others.
Melody and
I thought
Symphony.
Symphony. Yeah, that's it.
I thought they were all so like they were all named after songs and like music. But Destiny Angels sounds right. What was the three? But they were hot chicks in fighters uniform. It was
very risque for the 60s.
Do you want to know Captain Scarlet, Thunderbirds, and Stingray with this sort of like classic
view, like Land of the Giants, things like that, and Lost in Space.
And,
that was actually...
what was it? Why was Captain? This is what Google says. Why was Captain Scarlet indestructible? Because he was.
Yeah, he
was indestructible.
They were called Destiny, Symphony, Melody, Rhapsody, and Harmony. So why is it Destiny? Because all the others have something to do with music. Is Destiny a musical term?
Wasn't she the squadron leader?
Oh, maybe. There was a Captain Ochre. No,
yes.
There was
yes, there
not.
Was. Yes, there was.
There was every single colour.
Colonel White, Captain Black, who was the Mr. one, wasn't it? This is the voice. Captain Magenta.
Yeah.
No.
Some of them only appeared like in an episode. Or
and
something like that.
Who was Dr. Fawn? I mean... I think they're making this one up. But
that was Mr. Tumbles, where his name is.
I feel like this is all a prank on me.
Honestly,
I think you're all making all this up.
If you ever get a chance to watch good old, they're all puppets. You must have seen Thunderbirds.
No, I my 1960s television was purely, I don't know, Scooby-Doo tops.
Oh, Scooby-Doo.
Like maybe the Flintstones and stuff.
But was Scooby-Doo American?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hanna-Barbera.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Hanna-Barbera. Yeah, exactly.
Hanna-Barbera.
Do you remember Captain Caveman?
Captain Caveman.
Not really, no.
Zowie!
Banana splits.
La la. Was that American?
Hey, with the monkeys. No.
Were the banana splits
Yeah,
American?
I know the monkeys. Yeah, we know the monkeys here.
Here they monkey around.
Yeah.
Apparently.
We're
Allegedly.
too busy singing
Allegedly.
to put anybody down. I used to love the monkeys. That used to be
That was what Captain. No, was it Captain Gabriel was on that or something?
No, it was the Arabian Nights were
Nights
were in the banana splits. Yeah.
Was Team America making fun of this show?
That's what I was just wondering.
Oh yeah.
What's Team America? I don't.
America.
Yeah. Sorry.
A movie of puppets made by the creators of South Park that looks very similar to the
I tell you
puppet
what.
style.
The realistic looking.
Absolutely brilliant.
It is good.
I don't know what's wrong with. Sorry, we can only see one half of Longshanks's face because
Nothing to do with me.
No, I see all of them. Yeah.
No, I put you in the middle
This
now.
way.
No, I put you in the middle now. You know.
It's like Two-Face.
I'm going to increase the top so we can see the top of your head. See, Bunny Boxer said, I wandered into nostalgic hour with Inwills. Yeah, those were the good old days. That's when you used to wake up on Saturday morning and just sit down and watch cartoons all morning. It used to be those were the days, I tell you. Anyway,
Or go to the cinema and watch them.
oh yeah, and you used to get two
Saturday morning
films.
matinee. Yeah.
Yeah, you used to get two films. You used to get a little film and a big film for the price of one. And if you went in your
Flash Gordon. Sorry, I've said it once again.
Flash Gordon, there was some
Buster
classic.
Crab.
They were absolutely brilliant. There used to be a cinema called ABC Cinema, and on a Saturday morning you used to go in it, and you all used to shout from your seats with the miners of the ABC. Miners having, like we were younger, and it cost 5p to get in to watch a film. 5 pence. I don't know how much that is in American money.
That's like 1 cent.
old
That
money
would be
as
like
well.
what, 10 cents? Yeah, 10 cents.
Oh, totally,
maybe,
yeah,
perhaps,
maybe
8.76 cents.
Yeah, so but those were the days. Those were the days of good old television. Battle of the Planets, that used to be on.
Sorry.
Nobody else is there. What were your American friends? What were your cartoons growing up? What did you grow up on? What were they called?
Well, we grew up in the 90s, so our cartoons consisted of, like, when we were younger, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, poor you.
Yeah, that's fair.
We got Power Rangers. We had
Power Rangers has sort of like got silly after a while. It was
yeah,
good.
of course.
It started silly.
It was good.
It always was just low budget, making fun of it, or not making fun of it, but stealing from 2 existing Japanese shows and melding them together, and then putting American actors in it.
I quite like Power Rangers when there was just 5, but then they became more and bigger and more powerful, a bit like the Transformers. I can't watch.
Rangers Star Force.
The Transformer films. I don't understand them because I can't figure out who's the good Transformer and who's the bad Transformer in the fights. It's just beyond me completely.
The only person who can somewhat understand them is Michael Bay. That's because it's all just his idea of everything's fun as long as it's exploding.
I guess.
Dun, 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 dun. Sorry,
So-
Michael.
What was that from?
Well, it's actually Pirates of the Caribbean, but it's Michael.
Yeah, exactly.
Fantastic.
franchise.
Sailor Moon and all those anime cartoons. I haven't seen any anime cartoons.
I remember Sailor Moon being kind of popular for my cousins when
I remember Button Moon.
I remember the original Guyver, which is
Oh,
awesome.
MacGyver.
No, not MacGyver. Guyver, the original Japanese cartoon.
Oh no,
And it was
I don't do.
brilliant.
Japanese.
It's inside of me, and then I've seen the remade version, and it's like, what the hell?
I remember the first Hulk when it was really a man painted green.
Yeah.
It was,
Lou Ferrigno. Yeah.
Yes.
it was fantastic. I loved it.
We also grew up with like Pokemon and stuff. We were the
Pokemon. Gotta catch
the
them
initial
all.
Pokemon generation. Yeah.
You guys are the same age as my kids.
Yeah.
I watch Pokemon with my kids. I bought them all the DVDs.
That means we are old enough to be your parents.
Yes. Oh,
right,
God.
enough reminiscing. Hello and welcome everybody to tonight's, possibly the finale, or maybe not the finale, depending how things go. I was saying to some of the players before we set off that I always try to make the adventures 4 sessions long. And I plan in a lot of detail the first 3, and then I leave the last one quite open for the players to take control and sort of like finish it off. So Pokemon, my first Game Boy game was Pokemon Yellow.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think mine was blue.
The Pokemon games are
I have no idea at all.
If that was on PC, those games that were out for NES or the Game Boy, I'd have it all day long.
Really?
You can get emulators.
Yeah.
So you can play them.
But it's not the same. It's not the same.
It's not the same.
It only emulates the experience.
I don't like it.
Do you know? Do you remember Streets of Rage?
I've got that on Steam.
Yeah, well, Chugga bought it for me to go on my Nintendo Wii as an emulator. And do you want to know? I looked at it and thought, that's completely spoilt it. It was so much better when I played it. Back in the day, it looked good. Yeah. Now, if you play it, it just looks rubbish. Yeah.
If they actually did a proper Pokemon as a PC version, fantastic. It'd be awesome. I'd play it. I'd just take my money.
Got to catch them all. And on that note, I'm going to allow the players an opportunity for them to introduce themselves and their characters that they will be playing tonight. So yeah, straight over to you, Mr. Pickles. Go for it.
I'm Mr. Pickles. I play Bartleby Fumus, which is our team's theist. Bartleby serves Amriel, which is one of the moon divine beings. She's a moon goddess and the light moon that is visible. There's also a dark moon god who is related to Amriel, and sometimes Bartleby invokes his name, but mostly Bartleby is serving Amriel, and in fact, pretty well exclusively, barring a few instances. Through Amriel, he's able to work miracles and prayers that essentially heal and protect our people. He can rid people of disease or poison or even disease spirits, which I'm not even sure I want to know. He can dismiss magic, he can heal wounds, he can make protective shields, and in particular, priests and priestesses of Amriel usually have an ability to combat fatigue so that they can pray at night and serve the moon, of which Bartleby has. Besides his abilities as a theist, he also has quite a bit of knowledge of the streets of Lindo, our hometown, or his hometown that we usually hang out on. He also knows a lot about monsters and history of the lands, and is our go-to doctor, more or less. And I will pass on the mic, if I may, to Medivac.
And why, thank you, sir. I am Medivac, and tonight I shall be playing Ash Ketchum. And he will be going no, he won't be catching him tonight. I play Hazard Khan. He is a nomad from the northern steppes of this continent, Odess. He has come down south to Lindo to help out this group here, and he's been with them for a long time now. He's their go-to tracker, forager, hunter. He likes the outside. He does not like to be inside. He dislikes cities with a passion. He really feels at his element outside. You'll see him with a spear, a scimitar tucked away inside. He would always use his spear first. Scimitar is there for his last resort. He's very good at throwing it into combat.
He hasn't done that for ages.
I know. I'm going to make an exception tonight. Just throw it. Yeah, he does that because he knows he can hit. He's exceptional. He's very agile. He's quite slim. You'll see him in quilted armor. It's not even armor. It's quilted.
It's a bedspread.
Yeah, it's his onesie. Yes. He's recently joined the Brotherhood, which is a secretive group that keeps track of what changes happens in the regions around the world and how people and creatures affect those changes and what they can do to maintain a balance. In a sense, they do like to make sure everything's in a balance, but also recording everything that is happening. So with that, I shall pass on to I will pass on to Captain Kangaroo.
Everyone in Captain Kangaroo. Tonight I am playing Cyrus. Again, he's the newbie of the group, so this will be, I think, just third or fourth. Session altogether. He is the sorcerer of the group. He's kind of a little different than Mr. Pickles in that he's a little more aggressive with his magic, while Pickles is more there to benefit the others, while I'm more of the benefit myself, make sure I don't die. He also was able to handle himself in a martial sense as well. Kind of confident to the point of arrogance, and so far seems to be kind of pushing his way into making sure that he is the person in charge. But I feel like we'll see where that ends him up if he totally screws up this second combat scenario. So I'm going to pass off the mic to Longshanks.
Thanks very much, Captain. Hi, my name's Lonesome CPG, and tonight, as always, I'm playing the fabled character Hengist. He is a warrior from across the sea, fights in heavy armor, two-handed sword, or he can use it one-handed as well, depending on the situation with the shield. He is of noble birth from across the sea, but he's also now not recently, for quite a while, and he is slowly establishing his name in the noble houses of Lindo. He's joined one of the three major houses, the House Galot, which is one of the poorer of the three houses, but it focuses more on the sort of things he's interested in, which is supporting the town and supporting they support the town guard with arms and armor and that sort of thing, and they generally try to look after the less fortunate in Lindo. At least that's what they used to do. Whether or not they're still going to do that, because the Lord of House Glot passed away. Nothing to do with Hengist at all. It's not like Hengist was there with the assassins. Trying to fight them off and just been pinned down by assassins with a knife to his throat. Nothing, that didn't happen. It's fine. So other than that, he's got a few aims at the moment. He's trying to make a reputation of himself as a fabled warrior. He is looking into setting up a sword fighting school that teaches his virtues and his beliefs of looking after the weak and helpless, and that sort of thing. It doesn't matter who the weak or helpless are, they're all equal. So it could be someone from the slums in Lindo is in a weak and helpless situation, or it could be one of the lords is in a weak and helpless situation. It's everyone, if they need help, can get help.
Oh, how nice.
He's trying to be. He's been venturing with this party for a long time and has close relationships and has saved the lives of many of them on more than one occasion.
Excellent.
And I'll stop rambling and pass it over to our glorious GM, Idwills.
I can tell you that, well, I'm not... it doesn't matter what... it doesn't matter what you call me. It ain't gonna happen. You should be able to see. You should be able to see some kind of a camp now that we didn't have set up. I'll talk you through it in a little while. So, the party have been hired by a group of merchants. Some of the merchants that live within Lindo. Hengist, Hazra, and Bartleby has helped them before in the episode that was entitled Guarding the Guild Mistress, and they have returned to support them again. Essentially, there are three groups of people being involved in setting up a new trading point, a new settlement at a place called the Lonesome Bridge, which is halfway between Lindo and another town called Ubin Falls. They have been hired mainly because there's some strange goings on. They have the three groups of people are the guild masters, who are hiring the party, a group of craftspeople, stonemason, lumberjacks, things like that, and then a group of mercenaries who came late into the sort of like the group, the party. Basically, they've tried to set up a settlement twice at the Lonesome Bridge, and each time they have been met with the area being vandalized, being demolished, people not waking throughout the night, people not realizing what was going on. And so they returned back to Lindo and hired the party to find out, to support them, to find out what on earth is going on and to hopefully, fingers crossed, stop it. The party set off. There was a whole load of weirdness going on before they left Lindo. Hazra's oxen, called Brutus, was poisoned by dead rats being put in the water. There was also Bartleby got a strange note that said leave or die, or leave die, or something like that. Hengist's house had all the water skins slashed so he couldn't leave, and Cyrus had a strange encounter with a soothsayer and also a bluebird, a member of the Blue Order, who he mocked and suggested that she joined his order, which she promptly did and is doing very, very well. Is Captain Kangaroo who I think it is? That's from Wrath. Is Captain Kangaroo what? Yeah. Is that who he thinks it is? I'm not.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. He just said in the chat. Yeah. So and they set off to the Lonesome Bridge. They got attacked by water goblins. The party then found a dead human male hanging from a tree. Totally bizarre. I think you left him there. Did you leave him there?
I did the lay to rest miracle.
Oh, yes, that's it. You took him down and lay him to rest, that's it. And you arrived at the campsite, and the campsite that you can see is roughly where the 3 tents are. Okay, so the Guildmaster's tent is to the west. The mercenaries' tent, the craftsperson's tent is to the north, and the mercenaries' tent is to the south. Yours can be erected wherever you would like it to be. There is, on the eastern side of the plain, you will notice that there's some almost like light green bushes, and there's a gap. And that's the gap that leads across to the bridge. Okay, so that's... If you go off there, you go, that's it. You go across the bridge. And on the other side, remember, there's a bit of land and then there's the forest. Anyway, the party arrived at the site and there were several really strange things happening. Both Cyrus and Bartleby sensed magic in the area, some pulsing magic that seemed completely strange to either of them. Bartleby also noticed some mounds which he investigated, and they seem to be piles of bones, or maybe animal bones that had then been covered over in 3 locations around the site. And Hazra went out and set some traps, not only for animals, but to try to stop anybody coming into the camp. And at the end of the last adventure, the party were in the campsite when all of a sudden a merchant, almost like half stumbled, came out of the tent, looking, for want of a better word, possessed. He's carrying a dagger in his hand. He is sweating. His eyes are red-rimmed and bloodshot within. And he seems to be calling out to strange, unseen demons around the site. And every now and again, sort of like lashing out with this dagger/knife, almost like at invisible opponents. As you can imagine, party, the majority of the people are also out and around the place as well. I'm going to put on the merchant who's going running around with the knife there. If you need to know where anybody else is, then just ask me and I can let you know what's going on. So I think we rolled initiative last time. I think
we did.
Yeah, we did.
That's up on the. You should be able to see the order of it. I'm just going to switch maps. So rather than start going down the thing of I want to move this amount to this amount, I'm quite happy for you to give me your actions that you wish to do before we actually get into the dice rolling. So imagine that you've just coming in, you can see this guy waving his dagger around in a manic fashion, trying to hit things left, right and center. There seems to be nothing that he can actually see at all, or you can see. He seems to be very he seems to be concentrating on something that appears to be completely invisible, but he seems to be very sure it's actually there. All the mercenaries and everybody else are by their tents, giving this guy quite a wide berth at the moment. So if you would just like to let me know what you will be doing before we actually hit the combat round, the dice rolling, that would be absolutely fantastic. Anybody can go first. You don't need to go into combat order. It's just so I know what everybody will be doing. So yeah.
So Hazra's seen this madman come towards them, and he just seems to be screaming at the air. Yeah,
he's not necessarily coming. He just seems to be where he is.
Stumbling out. Sorry, yes.
Like this.
If he's going to attack him, he'll be using the blunt end as more like a cudgel rather than a spear, or this spear. So he'll be trying to when he just goes to combat, he will be trying to subdue him rather than kill him.
Okay, so you have various options down that line. If you wish to pull blows, you have to say, make it aware before you actually roll the dice that you're going to pull blows. And if you pull a blow, then you naturally do half damage. It is possible, as you can imagine, to pull a blow and still kill somebody.
It is.
Yeah. So, but you would state that before you actually. I
was thinking more like stun location and things like that.
Yes, so that
rather than using the point of the spear, you use reversing the spear and using the shaft.
So you would have the option that in order to do that, you would need to have a special.
Yeah.
To stun location. Okay, so specials are not affected by pull blows. The only thing that is affected is the damage. Sorry, Captain Kangaroo,
so
Mr. Pickles.
And then special.
Yeah.
I'm doing what now?
No, it's like Mr. Pickle and Captain's cameras are swapped round.
Oh.
So the chat was just saying they swap round.
All right, let me play as Mr. Pickles. All right, glasses, cats, got it. Okay, I got it. I got the character.
Okay, so Hazra, are you staying where you are at the moment?
No, I want to be moving forward.
Okay.
To engage, but in a passive kind of way. I want to be to subdue him rather than kill him.
Okay, so
one of our comrades.
When we actually start combat, do you want to be in combat with him?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So
brilliant.
I want to be moving towards the other side of the fire ring.
That's absolutely fine. So you will be heading towards them. Yeah. What about everybody else?
Hengist.
All right. You go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Longstrings go.
Hengist will be making his way as quick as he can to the chap, with the intention of trying to tackle him to the ground, basically.
Okay, so
he'll be in combat at the beginning of
so remember that as well as all the specials. So remember a special like grip you can use, which actually allows you to use unarmed combat with your empty hand to grip hold of him. It's what the assassins did to you, Hengist, and then basically there's a brawn or an armed roll to get escape from it. There also is the possibility to grapple if you wish, and that is done on unarmed skills rather than your weapon skills, and then it sort of like matches off against unarmed versus unarmed, and then with evade they can move out the way or anything like that. But generally what happens is that you inflict damage according to your damage modifier. but then hold them. So you can imagine if I was a big brute like Surford and I was grappling somebody in a head grip, my 1d4 would do damage to them, but I'm not going to use my fist at the same time. So you can grapple, which is a combat attack. Grip is actually a combat special. Yeah. So Hazra and Hengist, Hazra, you've got your spear out. What about you, Hengist? Are you
Hengist
drawing
would
your
have
weapon?
No, he would have seen the situation as he arrived, and the first thing we've done would have just been to run towards this chap,
Okay.
so he hasn't got his weapon out.
Okay, then. So Cyrus, then, and then Bartleby.
All right. So Cyrus is going to stand up, face the person going crazy. He's going to have his weapon, his glaive, in his left hand, and his right hand free. He's going to get ready to do something.
Okay, and what about Bartleby?
Since Bartleby has been possessed by a spirit before and has an encounter with the Shrike, he's fearing the worst, and he would be moving to start praying to get Amriel's vision of witch sight.
Okay then, cool. So combat starts, round 1, turn 1, and we are straight down to you, Cyrus. What would you like to do?
All right, Cyrus is going to cast Shove against the crazy person.
Nice.
Hopefully aimed towards the upper torso, so they shove him down. But shove outside of what gravity will allow doesn't do any harm.
No. I think he has a resist. Does he?
Either evade or endurance or something.
Yeah. The item is not moved with enough force to damage, and it's still subject to gravity. The spell affects the amount of encumbrance. Also, living creatures get a resist. Yeah. Okay then. So off you go then. You need to roll your folk magic spell, and that just takes 1 action. Folk magic spells are really nice, and it'll cost you so that goes off quite nicely. He will roll his he actually makes his roll. He sort of like Hengist and Hazra, as you're moving towards this guy, you almost like see him stagger back somewhat, as if somebody's pushed him in the chest, and he staggers back, and it almost like as if he's sort of like being hit in the face by a blow, and he sort of like staggers back up and sort of like swipes the air in front of him as you two approach. Bartleby, what would you like to do?
Praying for Amriel to give me vision. Oh, my bad. I didn't put on my Bartleby face.
No.
Here is my folk magic. And I'll go ahead and use my first point of life.
I was going to say, because you can't. Using minutes would probably mean just as the combat comes to an end. It's just like, so you can use your first. Remember that your combat, your luck points will be refreshed, but magic points will not. So you look across the scene. Now, the first thing that you see quite naturally is the background, as we'll call it, the background magic that you were aware of before. He doesn't look like there's no magic emanating from him at all. But what you do notice is that, can you remember one of the piles of bones, the 3 piles of bones that were there? You notice that one of them seems, they were never glowing before, but one of them is now. Okay, one of them is definitely glowing, but there's no magic emanating from this merchant himself at all. Okay, so it's Mad Person's go. So he's, as Hengist and Hazra, as you sort of like come into combat range with him, he slashes out with his dagger. Does somebody want to decide who wants to be odds or even?
I'm odd.
Okay.
I know you are.
That's a statement.
So let me just roll my dice. And it's even, so you sort of like, Hengist gets there first, leading the charge, and he's sort of like, this guy just whips out with his knife as you sort of like come into range. He actually makes contact with his skill of 50. He actually goes chong, like that, and actually makes contact with you. Do you wish to parry or evade or not?
No, because I'm imagining Hengist is basically, he's running at full pelt at this chap, so he's he was relying on his momentums basically to tackle the chap to the ground.
Cool.
So
Okay.
he wouldn't be parrying.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he sort of like swings at you. He's going to use disarm opponent. No, because you've not got a weapon out.
I'm unarmed.
Okay, then. So he's going to use flurry as his special.
Bypass armor.
Yeah. Well,
Maximum
Wasn't a
damage.
crit.
it wasn't a crit. I did notice that one. But so the first his first roll will be to your hit location, which will be 1.
That is my right leg.
And he will do a staggering. Let me just roll it from here. This is including his damage modifier.
20 points.
Oh no, 6 points of damage will come into your leg. And has that gone through armor?
It has gone through armor.
Okay, but I presume you're still in a minor wound.
Fine.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Okay, then. So he then follows up with he sort of like rams his dagger into your leg, and then he tries to do an uppercut to your face, and he uses up his action points. This is not going to. He's not the strongest person around. Let's face it. He goes into your 11.
My 11 is my chest.
Okay, yeah. So he sort of like whacks you into your chest, but only does 3 points of damage. He's possessed.
He probably bruises his knuckles on the chest plate.
He sort of like whacks it in as he goes along, and sort of like looks. You can see now that you're closer, both Hengist and Hazard, that his eyes are just red rimmed and mad. He's got hardly any white in his eyes at all. They're all heavily bloodshot, and he doesn't seem to be, even though he's fighting against 2 opponents, he doesn't seem to be fazed by it at all, and he just seems to be a pathetic little merchant before time. Hengist, you're up.
Hengist is going to attempt to grapple the chap. He wants to get him on the floor. So that's combat's unarmed, isn't it?
Yeah. So you will make an unarmed combat.
I fail.
Yeah, so you sort of like try to grab his arm or try to take him down, but he's just sort of like, you just probably some kind of Aikido move, and as you go to grab him, uses your momentum to sort of like move you to one side as you miss him altogether. Hazra.
Hazra, seeing what's happened, is going to swing his spear and is going to try to hit this chappie in his midriff, but he's going to use
You're going to pull the blow, yeah?
Pull the blow, non-lethal damage.
Cool. Fire away then.
Sorry, I scrolled forward.
Yeah, and you sort of like whack him in. He does have an action point left, so he can 74 means that he doesn't, so he sort of like jabs this dagger into Hengist's leg, whacks Hengist in the stomach, and then sees you're coming at the last moment and tries to get his dagger round to sort of like block it of some case, but he doesn't at all. So you will have 2 specials, and then hit location and damage. One could be, well, they can both be crits if you wish.
Well, I would like to do Well, circumvent parry is negative, but bypass armor. But also, I want to do stun location. No, in fact, no, ignore that. I want to do choose location, leg, and stun location, please.
Okay then. So roll your damage for me first, because then we'll take half of that to his leg.
That's 7.
Yeah, so that'll be halved. So it'll be, because halves always go up, so it'll be 4 points into his leg. And I think I make an endurance roll against your original attack, don't I, for stun location? 14.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, but not because yours was a crit in any case, so I would have to crit to actually beat it. So yeah, you sort of like whack him in his leg. He seems, you sort of like, even though you've used the butt end of your spear, you do hear a bit of a crunch. You know, as you whack his leg. You think you might have cracked or something in there, but by the way, it's obvious that he's not wearing armor at this point when she's there, and he sort of like stumbles down onto the ground. Okay.
So much for dead leg.
He's now down with a dead leg. Okay, so we're going back up to the top of the round, and this is turn 2. And Cyrus, you are up.
Is he made it to the ground? Did he fall over?
He's now prone on the ground. He's not flat out. His legs caved underneath him, so he's sort of like down on one knee, but he's not out for the count. He doesn't look like he's out of action.
Would I be able to shove the knife out of his hand?
You can't do anything special. You can just shove him. The only way to disarm somebody is either to use the summon spell, in which case you can summon the weapon to you, or to disarm him via a combat spell. But you can shove him to see whether or not you can get him to fall completely prone on the ground.
I'm gonna do that then.
Yeah,
I'm gonna shove him. Yeah.
So
stay away from him, but do that.
Yeah. So roll your folk magic skill and deduct your magic points. Nice.
There we go.
Yeah. So he has a save. 86 means that he doesn't actually save. So you shove him, which I'm going to rule actually gives the enough to sort of like make him fall completely on his back. So the two combatants, you see all of a sudden that he gets shoved by some invisible force from somewhere, and now he is actually prone on the ground. He's on his back, but just to let you know, he doesn't look like he's out, if that makes sense. He's sort of like still there, but he's still red-eyed and bushy-tailed. Bartleby, we come to you.
I have a few questions, because what I'm thinking about doing to start off is trying out the dismiss magic miracle.
Shock? Oh no.
No. I'm not going to tase him while he's down. No. I'm having Bartleby think about using dismiss magic, but looking at the spell description, I'll just pop it in really quick so you can see what I'm curious if Bartleby is able to like have a general reading of magnitudes of spells. Like, I assume the magnitude of the background spell is way higher than his, but I'm curious if he could make a judgment call on whether something is within his range of being able to dismiss, or if that's beyond him.
What I would actually say is that that's like what your witch sight would actually provide for you. So like the background, your witch sight sort of like show. I mean, magnitude and intensity 9 are powerful things. You know, that 9 is, I mean, it doesn't go much beyond 10 in any case. But so what do you wish to do it on the man, on the merchant?
Well, you said there wasn't any magic coming from the mound towards him, but then one mound was glowing, correct?
Correct, yeah.
And if I didn't see any magic on him, I don't think dismiss magic would do
So you're going to
anything.
do it on the mound, yeah?
Yeah, the mound is what I'm looking at.
Range 9 decameters. Where did
It said tens of meters
yeah.
in the book, and that's the only thing I could think of.
Yeah, I've never seen the word decameters before. We do deciliters a lot, don't we? Because that's like cans of Coke and things like that. Okay, then. So that's a miracle, isn't it?
Correct.
Yes.
Which means
so
I need to exhort my goddess
you
to clear the clouds
certainly
and look down at
do.
us. Here we go. Okay.
Nice. Yeah. So if the dismissal equal the magnet, it fails to eliminate the spell. Okay, then. So you cast this dismiss magic at this mound that you see glowing somewhat, and you feel for a moment a bit of push back against your magic. I always envision it as some kind of moonbeam or something like that coming from above. Is that what it looks like?
I imagine it was a little bit cloudy for a moment, and then as Bartleby reaches to the sky and shouts something like "Amriel," the clouds part and the moon just beams down on exactly that mound.
Right, and you sort of like bring down the beam with your hands, and as the light touches the mound, there's definitely a bit of push back against it. But then you sort of like your power seems to be definitely more powerful than this bone patch, and this magic comes down, and you actually see the mound not only lose its magic but also get slightly flattened, as if the bones or whatever underneath are sort of like being pushed deeper and sort of like flattened out. And once you finish that spell, and remember only you can see this at the moment, you notice that mound has no more magic in it. It is not glowing at all. It's just got the background stuff now, and then that's it. Okay, so Mad Person is on the ground, and even though he has to be formidable to actually hit anybody at the moment. But the interesting thing is, and both Hengist and Hazra, you can see this, he's not actually trying to hit you with the dagger anymore. He's got one good leg that's not stunned, not dead leg at the moment, and he's literally kicking out with that. So he just literally whacks it out, and even with a 36, that's not high enough for his formidable roll. But the thing that you're both quite amazed with is that he is still fighting. You know, even though he looks like he's out for the count, anybody else would have either, given up or whatever. He doesn't look like Hazra. He has this look of a wild animal about him, that even when they are cornered, yeah, he's a bit like that.
A badger.
Yeah, a badger. Out of all the fierce animals that I was thinking of, you come up with
Badgers are nasty.
a badger. It could be worse. It could be something like a hamster. You could have said like a hamster.
I've
Okay.
been bit by a hamster. I've got a scar on my thumb.
Oh, I hate them. They get no middles at all. They're all squishy. Those are gerbils. I hate those as well. Hengist, you're up.
Triples.
I don't know how best to do this, but Hengist wants to try and subdue the chap. So I'm open to suggestions on how I could do that.
Well, it's completely up to you. You can either grapple him and hopefully get him into a hold. You can use unarmed combat, and then as a special use grip or compel surrender or press advantage. Any of the combat specials that would actually give the outcome that you want would be absolutely fine. The only difference is that grappling is not a combat special, and it's not on your weapon, it's actually on your unarmed combat.
Yeah. Well, Hengist hasn't got a weapon out, so he'll probably try and grapple again.
Okay then. So roll your unarmed combat.
Yeah, 15 on the 49 this time.
Yeah, so he sort of like you sort of like clamp down. What are you going to actually try to do?
So he'll probably so if the chap's lying on his back, isn't he?
Yeah.
So he'll probably sort of put his weight on try and pin him down. So basically kind of like so he's going to be grabbing sort of like the chap's upper arms with each arm.
Okay, so
and then put a leg on the chap's good leg to like push him down into the ground.
So so he's tried to resist your grapple, so and failed. So you now have you'll roll your hit location and to see what you grab, unless you want to use your special that you've got to actually say I want to choose location in order to hit him.
Yeah, he'll probably do choose location, and then he'll do choose location the right, whichever arm the chap's got the dagger in. I don't know which one it is, if it's left or his right. It doesn't matter to me. Okay
then. So what happened? Do you have a damage modifier first?
I do. I have a 1d2.
Okay, so just roll your 1d2 because he'll take that to the arm because you're a beefy sort of fighter.
I don't remember how to do this. What was it? I ask this every time.
/ roll or R space 1d2. Yeah, so he takes 2 points of damage to his weapon arm. You haven't cracked anything, but you've definitely got a hold of him. So just to let you know, for the following turns that happens, as long as he tries to break free, so he rolls either his unarmed or his brawn to resist. You do not have to. If he tries to actively break free, then you will use an opposed roll of either your brawn or your unarmed. Okay, it's completely up to you which ones you actually do. If he then uses an action to break hold and he's actually successful, then he's out of the hold.
Yeah.
If he doesn't, then you continue to hold him. Okay, so unless he actually tries to start breaking free, you just hold him now, then that's it. Okay, then. So you've got hold of his combat arm. And yeah, Hazra, what would you like to do?
Hazra's seen Hengist jump on this man.
Yeah,
and
pin down his arm.
Fall on him, yes. He's kind of at a loss because he's seen this man in the caravan before. He's never acted this way. So clearly, Hazra's concerned that he's either gone stir crazy or something untoward's happening. So with that in mind, he wants to, again, there's no sort of water buckets or anything. He'd like to dash into bloody water, to be quite honest, to wake him up. But with that in fail, he's gonna take a swing with his spear again, and he's gonna pull the blow, and he's gonna try and take his other leg.
Okay, yeah. Well, roll your hit, and then we'll then if you get
happens.
Yeah, and then you can
Don't
choose.
hit me.
Oh yeah,
Combat, baby.
Oh, I never thought about that. That's good.
85 out of 103.
That's fine. That's fine. So yeah, you will gain one special,
which will be choose location.
Yeah.
Which will be left leg because the right leg last time wasn't it?
Yeah, correct.
Yep. So your damage will be 5.
5, so that would be 3 points, into his leg, which you notice doesn't actually. It actually takes him down to exactly 0 on his leg. So he actually needs to roll his endurance.
Dead leg.
Yeah. Which he which okay then. So what was your original roll? Because it's 85. Yeah, so you win no matter what, and you sort of his other leg goes limp and out of action, not because of stun location, but more because of the damage that has been done to it. Okay, then, and we're back up to the top of the combat round to anybody who's still got actions left. So if you still got actions left, then you can still operate in the rest of this round. So Cyrus, do you have any actions left? And if you do, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna use a free action to shout out to Bartleby to check out his eyes.
Bartleby's eyes.
No, Bartleby to check out the dude's eyes.
Bartleby, check out your eyes.
Check out your eyes, Bartleby. It's so cool.
Bartleby takes a
That's
mirror out.
from the moon right now.
You've got an eyelash just there, Bartleby.
Yeah, both there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can use the free action to shout out. Bartleby, you're up. Is there anything else you want to use, Cyrus? Do you still have an action left?
No, I'm gonna save up my stuff.
Okay, so you do
just kind of relax a bit, you know.
Yeah, Bartleby, you're up. If you got any actions left.
If I have no action points, am I still allowed to use a free action to respond?
It's an interesting thing because it's never actually talked about in the rules. I am quite happy on this occasion that you can shout back to Cyrus what you want. It's not going to really affect the combat much.
We already saw that the guy's eyes were weird, right?
Yeah.
So he'll respond. He'll give an exasperated look, I guess, and say, "Yeah."
Yeah, you hear one of the merchants shout back, "We can see his bloody eyes!" like this as they're sort of like cowering back, you know, and they're sort of like I mean, this is one of their own that you're literally taking down one step at a time. And it comes to the mad person, who actually still has no, doesn't have any. Okay.
I was like, whoa!
No.
Oh my god!
Why is this guy?
Has he got a luck point?
Another fighter.
Has he got a luck point? He could use a luck point to.
Oh, can I just say that interestingly, you might notice that people are starting to do specials.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah,
I know,
so some of the people that you actually come across will have luck points that they can use, and if there's a group of people, they have group luck points. So it's almost like
Do we have group luck points?
You normally, the only time that you might have encountered luck points is if you've ever played, and we have Shadowrun. They actually have, they're not luck points in that game. What are they?
It's edge.
Edge, yeah. So parties, baddies can have edge. So what happens is that a group of individuals will have luck, and
it's not luck points for them, and then a group luck point.
Yeah, well, it's just sort of like
it's not both.
No, so say for example, there's 6 assassins. They might have between them 2 luck points that I can use at any point. So I think my favourite way to use it is that once you roll, for example, I think with Hazra's roll of that crit or that hit, that would be a classic time that I would say re-roll it. And Hazard, and you'll either cheer if it comes up a crit again. Or just swear at me. Yeah, this guy does not look like he's out. He's not resisting he can't resist because he has no more action points. But Hengist, do you have any more action points left? Because you're up next.
Yes, Hengist does have one last action point remaining. He wants to try and
take a swing at him.
Well, I mean, can he do that? If he's in, if I'm in grapple, do I have to continue the grapple, or can I sort of?
You can release the grapple at any time. It's a free action.
No, but I mean to maintain the grapple, is that an action point?
No, you only need to maintain it if if I actually resist from it.
So, so in that case, Hengist is going to attack the arm with his unarmed. So probably he's gonna. Well, the end aim is he's trying to disarm the chap. He's trying to get rid of the dagger now. So he'll do that. So he'll probably throw a punch and hope that he can get the dagger out.
You probably got his arm in some kind of lock, and you're going to exert pressure. So roll your unarmed combat.
Nope.
Yeah, so you sort of like keep it there. I was hoping you get a crit, because I was just going to say, that's his elbow bent back against the hinge. And it's just like a ping as it goes out. So you try to sort of like hold him or hit him or anything like that, but to no avail. Hazra, do you have any action points left?
I do indeed. Hazra's seen this is going nowhere really, because Hazra's taken out both his legs.
He seems like a man possessed here.
I know, he really does.
Go on, just hit him in the face.
What location? Foot.
You seem to say
hit location. Little toe, please.
So Hazra will step forward. He's seen Hengist over the body. Hengist is pinning the arms down. Hazra just wants to attack, and he wants to pull his blow again. He just wants to stun this guy. He wants to just
go for it.
He's going to try for it. And he's got a 65 out of 69 hard.
That's absolutely fine. So you take your butt end blast at him. I need special hit location and damage.
Yeah, no problem. Choose location, head. And damage is going to be skull cracking.
3 points of damage, which means that he has to roll his endurance, which is a 44, which is less than your roll in any case. And while Hengist is sort of like holding down this arm as this guy flails around with his legs paralyzed to one degree or another, Hazra comes up with the butt of his end and just goes bash straight on the forehead, and he sort of like struggles for a while, and then he's knocked out for one D3 turn. So it's enough time for you to Hengist and Hazra, you're both there. What would you like to do?
Well, once Hazra sees his eyes closed, Hazra will get out some rope and he will tie him up.
And quite unnervingly, Hazra, his eyes are not closed.
Oh.
He's definitely unconscious, but his eyes are wide open. It looks like his pupils have sort of like swung upwards, and you can only see where you should have been normally to see white. They're all bloodshot and everything. So you sort of like you both take him down, and then you start to obviously call for rope or go and get rope. Bring me rope, Bartleby, or something like that. And a lot of the people are around. Cyrus, you're sort of like you seem to be among the craftspeople at the moment. They're sort of like huddling around you. Bartleby, you can see to the south. The mercenaries, they are sort of like, they came out and they seem to have drawn their short spears, which they're using, but they look like they were ready to defend. And everybody can see them. They definitely had them down in a ready position, a thrusting position, rather than just stand at one side. You can see the merchants, so to the camp, the tent in the west, and they're sort of like gobsmacked, shocked, and so you can hear them sort of like saying, "Well, what on earth? What? I've never known Frederick like this. Never. He was like a mad person like this." And Frederick just sort of like lies at the back. He seems to have a bit of drool coming from his mouth. But apart from a rather big bump appearing on his forehead, apart from that, he seems to be out of the count, and you quickly tie him up. Hazra, just roll your brawn roll for me. I just want to see how tight, to see what I need to escape from it if
I
needed.
tell you what, because it's early on in the evening, I'm going to use a point of luck to reverse that, please, to make it a 38 out of 50.
I love the way you say it's nothing to do with the game or anything. I just because it's early on in the evening.
Not like it's an important role.
No, I don't want to sort of like.
Points.
I don't like to use a luck point to really impact on the game. It's just
It's
because
not like I'm trying to hide my house from bandits.
yeah, it's just because it's 8:05, and I just think it's yeah. So you bind his. Let me just make a note. So that'll be 38. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so you sort of like tie him up, and some of the merchants approach you, and they sort of like Hazra and Hengist, and they sort of like congratulate you and sort of, well done, that was fine fighting. You are much better at it than us. We were ready if you called for us, but we thought just leave it to the complete experts. Although we are experts, we are nowhere near as good as you both. Would you like us to take him anywhere?
I would like to know what happened to him. He seemed to come bursting out of your tent like a crazed beast.
No,
So tell me.
he came out of the merchant's tent. He just
The merchant's tent, sorry.
He just sort of like, I don't know. Well, all of a sudden there was a commotion outside, and some of us were just outside cleaning the ends of our spears and, making sure that our leather armor was well and truly oiled. And also he just came out. He sort of like looks across, and one of them bends close down to you, Hazra, as if he doesn't want anybody to see, and he almost like puts his hand over one side of his mouth, and he sort of like whispers to you, came out of the merchant's tent. Wild. I would be asking them what actually happened. He was like a demon possessed.
Good man.
Thank you.
I will go there now and find out. Thank you.
Do you want us to do anything with him?
No.
We can take him off your hands now if you wish. We can guard him. We're good at guarding.
I have one man guarding, but the rest of you maintain a perimeter around the tents.
Yes, Hazra. And they look across to you, Cyrus, as if you're going to give them another order, because if you remember, you're sort of like the person in control here. And they've seen
unofficially, but kind of officially.
Yeah. I think there was a wonderful role early on in the last adventure when there was a.
There was like 3 roles.
There were like, oh,
yeah,
God,
it was ridiculous.
You are the best.
And they're sort of like looking up to you. You've sort of like heard Hazra's comments, but they're definitely looking to you as if.
Go ahead. Sorry. Go
ahead. As if they almost like want confirmation. Is this what you want them to do?
Yeah, I want you all to calm down. Looks like everything's taken care of. Frederick's safe. We'll take care of this and see what went wrong. But he's probably just sleepwalking.
Just make a perception roll for me, please.
Yeah. Ooh,
nice. Yeah. And
nice.
Just as you're giving this order, you hear one of the craftspeople turn to somebody else, and he sort of like whispers in a not wanting it, almost like a stage whisper, i.e. really and truly he wants people to hear, but he's saying it in a hushed tone, and he sort of like says, those mad merchants, don't know what they were doing in their tent. There was all that moaning and groaning beforehand.
Oh my. So I signal for everyone to
turn off your vulgar mind. We don't want a repeat of the grandma incident. Thank you.
Oh my. Oh my.
Yeah. Oh my.
Yeah. I'll send you the link. So Cyrus, you sort of like hear this one of these craftspeople saying this. Do you wish to respond to anything?
I'm just going to give him a very noticeable and solemn glare.
Yeah, and he sort of like looks back at you as if to go, yeah, right, you heard me. I meant you to hear me. He doesn't look,
All right.
he sort of like thinks, good. You can see that he's actually thinking, good, I'm glad that he heard that.
I'm going to also signal to the rest of the group,
So-
us four, to follow me into the merchant's tent.
Okay then, so the merchants are actually outside. So let's just we'll put this guy here who is actually guarded now. I think you said you wanted one person there. Was that?
Please, yeah,
Just the one. So we'll put. I think I used bandits beforehand, but I'm going to change and use
the guard's back.
The guards are back. It's not the one that everybody can control. I've kept him for later.
That's my character.
Yeah. So there's one guard there. There seems to be 4 merchants, because the other merchants over here, and Cyrus sort of like signals you. I imagine him sort of like points to you and sort of like signals over here. So Hazra and Hangus, you are virtually there. Bartleby.
Bartleby was hoping to give some medical attention to this injured guy at some point. He's got a healer's kit, and but he'll delay on that for now, I guess, and join up with the group.
Yeah, leave him to bleed out, and that's absolutely.
You should go there and get kisses like there.
Yeah, and
the
the merchants seem to be talking to each other, and then they sort of like see you all appear in your foursome around them, and one of the 5 sort of like plucks, one of the 4, sorry, because the 5th one is unconscious. One of the merchants sort of like looks round and sort of like stops talking and sort of like stops and looks, and everybody sort of like looks, and you can almost like see, if anybody would like to roll an insight roll, you can roll one now if you think there's a good chance of succeeding.
I don't, but we roll it.
So we've got dead on 20 from Hazra. Shame it's a hard.
I'm jinxed. Bartleby makes a 38 on a 40.
Oh my life!
Good grief.
Hengus is distracted by the cut on his leg.
Yeah. So they seem to be worried about your approach, but they seem to be true to that. They seem to be very threatened by the 4 people that they hired actually coming and almost like having that domineering posturing round them, as if they're sort of like scanning round all of you. And one of them sort of like looks and says, yes.
What happened in there? Because this man came flying out of your tent, crazed, with the eyes of blood red. What have you been doing in there?
Yeah, roll your influence roll.
Come on. Oh, 59 36. I got a very easy, sorry.
Yeah, no, and they sort of like look at you and sort of like say, one of them says, we are your employers. You should not be asking us the questions like that.
I'm just very concerned about why this man has come charging out of your tent, and you have not shown yourself until just now. But this man has been slashing with his knife and trying to attack my friends. I'm a little bit anxious about this. So I apologize as you are our employers, but I'm more concerned about our people.
Yeah, well, roll your influence again.
For the money. Yeah,
Cool.
25 out of 36.
No, because you're redoing it.
Oh, it's hard.
It's hard, and they
Yes.
sort of like look at you and sort of says, I think you're a little bit confused, Bandage Man, about who actually is paying you here. There was nothing going on in our tent apart from this. Our friend had a drink of something and then just whirled at us like a madman before exiting the tent and coming out. I would just like to warn you, and he sort of like points at you, Hazza, that this will seriously be impacting on the monetary reward of your services.
I come in and I kind of try to slow down. I say, hey, no one's in trouble here. We're just trying to find answers. I just want to, can you show me what the person drank? What was his name? Frederick? What Frederick drank. And we'll try to see maybe something happened. Maybe he just, maybe he's not good with alcohol. We'll let's figure this out together.
Yeah, make your influence roll.
Can I re-roll it with a luck?
Yeah, you can do.
Oh, come on.
No, so you sort of like take the kindly approach, and they just sort of like say, as far as we're concerned, this is probably something to do with one of the other two groups. I wouldn't put it past them to poison our alcohol. Oh my God, I think, did anybody else drink the wine? And they all sort of like said, no, I think I was eating a date before I had the wine. No, I was eating some kind of fowl. It might have been...
I had the salmon.
It might have been a pigeon, but it might have been a pheasant. I wasn't too sure what it was. Well, they seem to be talking now among themselves, just sort of like ignoring the retainers. You people, and said, well, I think it's probably a very good idea. And they sort of like turn their backs on you and sort of like head into the tent. And then almost like 30 seconds later, the lead merchant, who feels very much in control now, after managing to stand up to two of you 3 times, sort of like comes out, and he's got this rather elaborate tray. It seems to be something that's quite out of place for a tent. When you go on camp and you use really poor pewter goblets or whatever, this actually comes out in a quite almost like gold inlay tray, and in the middle of it there's some kind of jug that has a flip top, and round it you can see that there seems to be some kind of almost glass drinking vessels. You notice that one is empty and the other 4 are still full, and he sort of like comes out very, very carefully and says, as our protectors, you might want to take a look at that. And he sort of like puts it down on the ground. He doesn't drop it, he just places it, but he places it with such vigor that one of the goblets sort of like tips over, and the wine goes on the tray, and he sort of like sees this, and he looks up at you all and says, and if that tray is damaged in any way, it will be coming out of your money. And sort of like turns around with a swish of smoking jacket robes and comes in, and he gets the sides of the tent from inside and tries to make an elaborate, forceful slam of them, but really it sort of goes poof, like that, and he goes inside. Cyrus, just make a perception roll for me, please.
Okay.
Yeah, nice. You somebody Bunny Boxer said in chat, imagine Cyrus bleeding heart over the spilled alcohol. You can just lick it up if you
you bring a straw.
You sort of like hear from the crafts people behind you. Two things that you hear with that rather excellent roll for your perception, I would say. You hear two things. One of them seems to be some kind of person or somebody almost like saying things like, "Wow, they were brave. Fancy talking to them like that. You know, don't they know they rescued that merchant?" And the other thing that you hear is some of them saying, "Well, we knew it was the merchants all the time. This obviously, you know, this is why all this has happened. And they look at the way that they stood around that tent. They know they're just waiting for the evidence before they can actually, you know, deal with these merchants." And what one of them sort of like says, "Well, I hope they don't burn them. Oh no, I think they'll probably just bash their heads in or something like that." And there's this sort of like, you can hear this going on behind you, Cyrus, and you don't really know whether or not you are meant to be hearing this or not, but you're closest, so you sort of like have a look. So yeah, so you all the guild, the merchant's tent has been, the flap has been shut in a flourish, and there's a tray with a flagon, a jug, and some glasses on the tray. What would people like to do?
Bartleby would like to take this moment to share with the group what he saw during combat, pointing over to the mound and saying it was glowing much brighter than it was before when we had arrived here. I dismissed it, but that didn't seem to cause any difference. I just know that the light flared up around the time where he became mad.
So you think they're connected?
I'm not entirely sure now, but I know it wasn't flared up that powerful when we arrived.
All right. I'm going to roll Witch Sight to see if anything's glowing or emanating from the potentially poisoned wine or alcohol.
Use your folk magic roll then and remove it from your magic point.
No.
You can't reverse that. So you could take minutes, which actually takes it down to an easy roll, but you don't even have that at the moment. So you could probably leave it till later. So do the rest of you, while Cyrus is sort of like trying to concentrate. What are you planning on taking this tray somewhere or leaving it where it is? What do you think you'll be doing?
Let's take it to our tents or our area.
Okay.
What time is it at the moment?
It's coming in to night, so it's just sort of like past dusk now. So the light, the sun's setting.
And we're out of the circle, aren't we? Because the whole thing was we were camping away from the circle of power.
The circle's to the north of you.
That's right. Yeah.
Bartleby, if you have a chance, can you check on the guy who's knocked out, see if he needs any medical attention?
That was my intention to do so.
All right. Let's walk away from this tent really quick and try to figure out what we want to do.
Are you taking the tray with you?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, Bartleby, do you want to make a healing roll?
Would love to pull out my healer's kit, get all my arnica lotion, and narrowly standard.
No, that's a good roll. Remember, 55 out of 55 is the best roll. He doesn't look like he's seriously injured. His leg is stunned. Anything else? He's got a big bruise coming out, and he's got a bump on his head. But he doesn't look like most of them seem minor or just bordering on this serious wound type. So with your bandages and a bit of your healing kit, you can sort of like put some herbs or some ointment on the bruise to take it down and, support any sprains, etc. Interestingly enough, just while you're there, he's still completely out for the count. His eyes are still rolled back and open, and you hear the guard say, "That's bloody spooky, that. Bloody spooky." And just make a perception roll for me, please.
Oh,
yeah, nice. So while you're sort of like dealing with him and sort of like bandaging him up and checking him over, you do notice something that is quite unusual. There's quite a strange smell coming from his mouth. His mouth is open and sort of like hung open, as if he's almost like gasping for breath through it. And as you're sort of like checking his head, you definitely smell something emanating from his mouth. It appears to be quite sweet smelling. If you weren't mistaken, you think it might have been honeysuckle or some kind of aromatic flower. It's not unpleasant at all. If anything, it's quite pleasant, and there's no fumes coming out or anything like that. It just seems to be as if he swallowed something, and this is what's lurking in his mouth. Is there anything you wish to do?
that sort of sounds to me like poisoning, and since they've already been poisoned before, it wouldn't be too much of a leap for Bartleby to consider curing malady here. So I think that's what Bartleby would do, is he'd try and call down Amriel for a second time this evening to cure malady, which of course is right here.
Yeah.
And here is my exhorting roll. Bring the moon.
Yeah. 62 out of 82 is absolutely fine. Yeah. Bartleby is completely correct. He's definitely been poisoned, and you can, as Amriel's light cleanses him of this poison, it definitely looks like it was something in his bloodstream, definitely something that he drank, and definitely something that drove him wild. And the other thing that you notice as you cast it is that his breathing, which was quite rapid and ragged, slowly eases and becomes very more rhythmical and deeper. And his mouth closes rather than being open in this hideous gapous maw. It sort of like closes quite naturally. And the most interesting thing is that you actually momentarily see his eyes roll back to the front, so you can actually see the pupils, and the pupils seem to be incredibly dilated, but the redness is going. And then as you finish the spell, you notice that his eyelids actually close, and he seems to be more at sleeping now rather than dead. He just seems to be in a very deep slumber. And that,
Praise to Amriel.
yeah, most definitely. Okay, that brings us to 8:30, which is a good point to pause there for a quick 10-minute break before we come back and see what happens during the night as the party prepares to guard the camp. So party members, have a think about that for when we return after the break. So we're going to take a quick 10-minute break. So we'll be back at 20 to the hour. So 10 minutes, go off, stretch your legs, grab something to drink, and we will see you back here in 10. See you soon. Be right back. Right, we'll do that button
Sorry.
and do
I was
that
ma-
button.
I
Okay,
was making porridge.
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 I can't.
Two people who are eating breakfast now. I don't
can't-
understand it.
I know.
Mine's got honey in it though.
I'm not allowed to. Well, I can't eat porridge because it's got oats in it, and oats sets off my IBS because it's high fiber. So I'm afraid porridge is off the menu. Anything with oats in, which means I can't eat flapjack.
And I had granola flapjack, and that's really nice.
Well, yeah, if it's got the pleased to know that Bunny Box is back with some wine.
I've been out of wine, Bunny Box. Sorry. No, sorry for me, really.
And Darth has some too. Rolls are up and down.
Apple juice.
Apple, is it really?
Yeah. I
I
feel
was having
really
breakfast. Why are you having breakfast
apple juice.
at 8:45 at night?
This is
Maybe
like
back.
you probably have some toast
because
as well.
It's morning somewhere. Yes. I'm on a healthy diet at the moment, so I'm not drinking as much, and
Well, I'm doing this couch to 5K. So
How's
it's
it going?
well, I'm only up to week 4. I completed week 4 this week.
Have you left the couch yet?
Yep. I've managed to get to the door and back again.
Victory!
Nice,
So
nice.
all these
It's a
Instagram
win.
posts have been fake.
I've been
you
doing
made it to
really
the door.
well because I do it 3 times a week.
This is a road to
Do you know, I have a really good playlist that I have playing also like good. Hazrat, are you ill? No, he always looks like that, Darcy.
Yeah, I had a fitness thing, and yes, I am on a very strict health regime.
Good on you. So yeah, so just to go back to my running, I'm now running. I'm now
dying.
running more times because it's 30 minutes. I'm actually running more times for a longer period of time than I'm walking.
That's
If
good.
that makes sense.
That is really good.
That's
Actually.
So
progress.
I have a 5-minute walk, and then this woman comes onto my iPods and says, "Are you ready for your run now? Let's go!
Shove off.
3, 2, 1, run!" Like this. I'm just like,
Does she go? They're still after you. Keep going.
well, I run for 3 minutes and have a break, then 5 minutes, have a break, 3 minutes, then the end 5 minutes. But every time I hear her, I think the 5 minutes is up. And so all of a sudden you hear her, she goes, well done. 3 minutes to go. What?
And you're like slowing down.
Yeah, then she starts teaching, talking about having a stitch. And I'd been running without a stitch from there. And then she says, sometimes you would get a stitch. I go, yes. No, I meant about drinking apple juice and not beer. That's why he said, are you ill?
He's just drinking pure cider. He says it's apple juice, but it's
Yeah.
just cider,
Yes,
really.
I wish. No, I'm seriously cut down my alcohol intake a lot. So,
When you say a lot, you said at the beginning of the stream that you were having a bottle of wine tonight.
yeah. I normally have
How much do you normally drink?
on a Saturday night. I normally have like a box of beer, which is like 18 pints.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That is
Yeah.
a lot, actually.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
above average, isn't it?
I don't even want to think what that.
I don't know what average is in the
is.
UK right now, but
No,
yeah.
well,
Bottle of beer is what, 2 and a bit
well,
units?
to be fair, when I lie to my doctor and say I only have a couple of pints a night, she's like, "Oh my god, that's like you're well over the unit." And so I'm thinking, like, well, if I have a box of beer on a Saturday night and maybe a box on a Sunday and a bottle of wine most nights, yeah,
Yeah, you need to cut.
that's why I've
It's a
cut
bit
right
like,
down.
I've started listening to a rugby podcast recently, and they were talking about one of the old players was basically going, yeah, drink 40. And they said it was like 40 pints or something like that, and they were like, a week, that's a lot. And said, no, that's just Saturday night.
Yeah. You know, it's so easy when you get to my age. It's like you know, unless it's a spirit, you can just go drinking, playing, drinking.
Darth has just said,
go to bed.
Darth just said 18 pints, question mark. How?
Style and panache.
Lightweight.
Yeah.
I like to go a little healthier and only drink about half a bottle of whiskey.
Do you know, yeah, that's something I drink whiskey all night long unless it's Jameson's, and one glass of Jameson's just chucks me over the edge.
Really?
Yeah, Jameson's my kryptonite.
That's tequila for me.
So just
Tequila is my kryptonite.
as if you didn't know, but I'm actually teetotal, so I don't drink alcohol at all. So I see it as you guys are drinking my share.
Oh.
You see, I'm stopping some of it in order for.
I'll be telling my doctor that I'm drinking this for me.
Yeah, it Will says I could drink his quota.
Yes, his quota.
My liver
It's
salutes
fine.
its responsibility.
And I don't even have alcohol in things like puddings.
Or mouthwash.
Well, yeah, if it's neat alcohol, then I have to live with it. Anyway,
I've had to cut down my turpentine intake.
that would be Bunny Boxer said that would be way too much fluid for my stomach.
Oh,
It's
Yeah.
just the 18
Really?
pints is a huge.
18 is a lot.
it's just a box.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to think of
You do go to the toilet a lot, so when 8:30 comes, I'm like, oh my god!
And I was just trying to think of 18 bottles of milk and trying to drink 18 bottles of milk, and I just saw like that's amazing.
Well, this is like a litre and a half, and I'll drink that in like very shortly.
Goodbye, teeth.
Yeah.
That's the
Okay.
next thing.
Let's get on with the game, and so we can save some of Hazra's liver, because I think if we finish earlier, then that'll be it. He'll have to.
My kidneys are fine. My liver, no idea.
No idea. Yeah.
Missing an action.
It's around somewhere.
4 pints a night, Darth can do. Okay, so
4 pints.
let's just recap briefly what is happening. The merchants are inside their tent. The craftspeople are at the top one muttering about the merchants. You've got one person guarding the tied up merchant. The rest of the guards are out and about. The craftspeople are sort of like making a move to sort of like go into their tent, and the mercenaries, the hired mercenaries, are almost like seem to be reporting to Hengist and Cyrus, as if to sort of like say, what do you want us to do? You're in charge of this. What's going to be the plan? What are we going to do, etc. And Bartleby, you've cured this guy of his some kind of drug. Do you want to put him somewhere, or he's still trussed up like a turkey? He's still tied up by Hazra.
Yeah, and I think it's best for Bartleby to confer with his more tactically inclined allies before he makes any decisions like that.
Okay, then.
So he's going to return to the group and reveal to them. Amriel has shown me that this man was poisoned with some sort of drug.
So Bartleby approaches and reveals himself. Reveals the power of Amriel to you all. Hengist's token's a little bit too small again. There you go.
It's happening.
He's trying to outshine me, isn't he?
Yeah. That's the old token as well.
It is the old token. I wasn't going to say anything.
Yeah. It's because this was taken from the Tiffin.
Sniffing Tiffin.
Yeah, this is the same plan that I use for that. Yeah, so what mercenaries are gathering round you as well. So remember, you have 5 mercenaries in total. So Bartleby sort of like comes to you all for a conflab. Do you want to stay where you are or move?
Let's move to
we're probably on
let's
our
move away
area.
from the merchant's tent, because we're gonna gossip badly about them.
Is that all right? Are you happy there?
Yeah. All right. So
Look how small Brutus is.
He's a little cow.
It's just cold.
There you go.
all right. the last time that some things were poisoned, that was the craftsman, or was it just kind of general from the previous night?
Last time that it happened, the poisoning, it was one member of each group.
Correct.
The merchants were first, like tonight. And it was followed by the craftsmen, then the mercenaries.
But it was a different type of poisoning, wasn't it? Surely. Because
Yeah.
this one he
made them sick
was
to
he
their
went
stomach.
berserk.
Yes.
Yeah, that seems possible. It could be that it was a drug rather than a poison. There's some drugs I've seen in Lower Lindo that affected people in such a way.
I think since you cured both, Bartleby, you definitely sense the difference. The first one was probably some kind of poisoning. This last one was obviously almost like drug related. You think maybe even hallucinogenic drug or something like that.
All right. So we're still going to have to try to survive the night. I think we should kind of stay in our own tents, but we should each buddy up with one of the guards and have our 2 hours of watch.
I can hear a cat.
throughout the night. Oh, sorry.
Is that your cat?
Yeah, that's why I borrowed my mom's cat because
Just broke at the moment.
I saw a mouse the other night, and so I borrowed my mom's cat, and it's
I can just hear it go, ow.
it's demonic. It's a very demonic cat.
Does it?
You're just not treating your cat appropriately.
Does
Well,
it?
I was literally sleeping last night. I had my door closed. It snuck into my door, jumped onto my bed, and then got near me and then hissed right when I was sleeping, and then jumps away.
Well, you closed the door. You're asking for a punishment like that. Come on.
It's terrifying to hear a hiss when you're deep in sleep.
Yes, I can.
So maybe
Right
you
in front
learned
of
your
you.
lesson.
Yeah.
It was an asshole.
I thought it might be your cat, Bartleby, that I could actually hear. You know,
No,
My cats are happy and
More yowly.
No, this is demonic.
yes.
Anyways,
So, back to the
you
game.
would be
Yeah.
as well if you were taken out your home, put in a stranger's house.
Put to work.
Just to ask, is it Rosemary's cat?
it's what?
Is it Rosemary's cat?
Oh, so maybe, yeah. Like Rosemary's Baby.
Sorry, I don't understand.
I
that.
don't get it either in Wales.
Like Rosemary's Baby
the horror movie.
No.
movie? No.
I don't
It's a
watch that.
classic, but I've never
It's
seen it.
a bit like Thunderbirds and Captain Scarlet.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's not. Don't lie. Don't lie.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right.
So yes, Bartleby. So you know that there's probably a difference between the, and yes, you're right, Cyrus. It was. I think it started with the merchants, and then it's sort of like you found one from each group coming out with it.
So obviously, I would imagine someone here is the one doing it, but they can either be trying to stop the impression that if it was one group or another by just overarchingly poisoning everyone's, so that way it takes off the suspicion off them. It's possible, but I still think we should watch and make sure no one's going between tents and everything throughout the night. Just make sure no one's sneaking through the shadows and poisoning drinks and food and whatnot while we're on watch. And honestly, it could be even the mercenaries. Maybe they're mad that they're being blamed for all of the problems from last time, and now this is their way of getting back. We don't know.
Cyrus, do you?
Yeah.
Are there any mercenaries around us before I ask Cyrus?
No, they're out of earshot if that's what you wish. Yeah.
Do they really seem like trained soldiers to you?
None of them have done anything besides look angry, and when things go wrong, they're there with their short spear, and that's about it. They don't attack or anything. But that could be on us, not yelling at them to attack.
Well, your skill to do with military, we'll use it as a knowledge base rather than a skill base on this one.
Tight.
Yeah, you think that they seem to be the following order type, who, you know, lack initiative and are quite happy to take orders and follow them from people like yourself and Hengist. They seem to be, they don't seem to be battle ready, if that makes sense. They almost like seem to be like town guardish, but they do seem to, I mean, how they carry their spears, etc. They know one end from the other, and they're very obedient, as if they're used to somebody giving commands, you know, and say, if they say the merchants have probably said to them, guard the camp, then they would probably take their own initiative and do something quite a reasonable job of it. But with more important people like yourself and Hengist around, they're definitely, you almost like feel that they would salute you if they thought it was a good idea to,
like I don't know. From what I understand, they're pretty much typical mercenaries. They're not great. I don't think these merchants will pay for fantastic fighters to protect them. I'm pretty sure they'll pay the lowest dime to save their own purse.
That's sort of what I was just thinking. If there's a party of traitors in this bunch, the two conflicting parties might try and poison each other, but this third party of the mercenaries, they might be being used by one of the groups, or they might be,
or working on their own behalf, knowing that they're going to get paid no matter what. But I don't know.
I think though, because the drugs have been involved, perhaps these aren't real soldiers at all. Maybe they're shills from the Thieves Guild, posing as soldiers.
You just feel that Sniffer's going to come back at. I think Bartleby's are actually paranoid at this guy.
I'm a little paranoid. But I'm certain he has people. I've seen his effect in Lower Lindo. Still out there.
Again, we talked about it. It could be the Thieves Guild. I'm almost very certain it's not. But you know, maybe you're right for once. I don't know.
Well, you've never messed with the Thieves Guild, clearly.
Okay. Here's the one thing that's weird. Are all the goblets on the tray?
Right.
All 5 of them?
Yeah. One's empty, one's tipped over, and the other 3 are still there with some wine in, look like they're untouched.
Got it. All right. So obviously, I would imagine the one drank was by that guy over there. Frederick. I'm confident that it was the poisoning was supposed to be for all 5 of them. So whoever did it, it could be, you know, maybe whoever did it was a 3 that didn't drink, or maybe Thieves Guild or not Thieves Guild, but the workers did it, the craftsmen. What is that? We don't know. And I don't think we're going to find out unless we either question or kind of wait for the next thing to happen.
But my friend.
Yes.
You know, as you like to drink like Hengist and Bartleby, you like to drink.
Of course.
Would you drink a full goblet by yourself and nobody else drink? So why is one empty? One has been thrown over, and the other 3 have not been touched.
Yeah, someone poured all of them, so it was almost as if it's one thing if no one poured onto the goblets, and it just one was poured, obviously by the guy who planned to drink, but it looks like they were about to do a toast, and one drank a little too early.
But surely, when you do a toast, I mean, I have with my chieftain when I was a young boy, I used to watch the warriors all grab a horn full of mead, and they would bash them together and then drink them in one mighty full swoop.
You don't have to tell me. There's never a drop left at the end of the toast for me.
Exactly. So why are the other 3 still full and still on the plate, on the tray?
I think you have some. I think you have a good idea.
Did he run in there and go, I need a drink? Oh!
But all 5 are already poured.
Yeah. I just don't understand why only one person would drink and the others wouldn't, unless it's like let him drink it and let him taste the poison and maybe cause worry into our group.
There's one thing I for sure have already figured out, and it's that I want them to pay because I'm so annoyed by these merchants.
Why don't we?
No one treats me like that, and I can't wait for them to figure out that they're nothing without us over here.
Why don't we offer them a drink? Do you know what I mean? If we take this tray back to them and say, hey, have a drink.
Bartleby's eyes are sort of like popping out of his head.
I have only so much favor from my goddess.
No. Mr. Bartleby, I'm sorry. But if we offer them a drink and one of them goes, no, not me.
I think they all know that the drinks are bad, right? At this point?
Well, we don't know. Maybe only one person knows the drinks are bad. Maybe 3 people know the drinks are bad.
Maybe if we offer that and if none of them react before they drink it, I can stumble.
Or maybe we take the liquid out of these goblets and replace them with something more innocent.
And I'll pull out my my bottle of
Yes.
wine. I don't really want to share it, but I think you might have a point. So I have it ready.
It is just a thought. Maybe we replace the liquid in here, but keep the liquid, but replace it with something else and pretend it's not being changed.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll pour liquid into one of my. I have a few empty bottles.
Clink, clink, clink.
Yeah.
What day is it?
I'll put a liquid into my empty bottle and we'll wash it out in the rivers or whatever, and pour fresh, non-tainted wine into it, and then we'll test our resolve. See which one seems a little more scared than the others.
Okay, so you're putting the non-tainted wine in the picture, yeah?
We're going to put the tainted wine into a bottle.
Okay.
We're then going to get one of my actual filled bottles after washing out the pitcher.
Yeah, pitcher.
We're going to put regular non-tainted wine into it, and then we're going to go up there and offer our essentially be sorry for the way we acted prior.
Essentially, we want to replace and make everything look exactly the way it was when we were given this tray of drinks.
Mm-hmm.
But we replaced the tainted wine with ordinary wine. But we don't want them to stir that, so it's going to look exactly the same. The goblets can be tipped over. There's going to be 3 glasses full or 3 goblets full. Was there a picture on there as well?
Yeah, there was a jug with a flip-top lid on it.
Yeah, so that'll be on there as well. So it'll be the ones that were filled with wine will now be filled with untainted wine. The picture will be, so it wants to be exact replica, but untainted.
And we're going to tell them that we found that the wine wasn't tainted. It must have been something else.
Yeah, and offer it to them.
Okay, so who's actually going to do this, or are you all approaching together?
I think
no.
Bartleby is more than happy to be the one to offer. He's very trustworthy.
Yeah. Okay then. So Bartleby takes the wine tray over to the tent. Yeah, go for it.
I guess I'll. Oh wait, the tent flap
is shut.
Yeah, and you can't really knock at a tent flap. I'll just say, excuse me, it's Bartleby.
We are retiring for rest.
Well, we wanted to apologize for our behavior earlier. We brought you something to help soothe your nerves.
Okay, make your roll.
Would you like me to give you a deceit?
Are you trying to deceive them?
I guess not directly.
So
it'd be more of an influence at this point.
Yeah, go for it. Ooh, I get to roll.
Beat my 37.
Oh!
You beat it.
This also the tent flap opens and just a head comes out, and it's sort of like it's held underneath it, and it's sort of like you see the merchant that was doing all the talking before, and he sort of like sticks his head out and he looks at you, and he almost like is smiling slightly as if to say, oh, that's nice. And then he looks down at the wine and the tray that looks exactly the same as what it was and says, are you trying to poison us? Bartleby?
Yeah, Bartleby.
No. We just thought we'd return.
Was that the wine that Frederick drank? Look, that's his empty cup. Are you trying to bring us back the wine that killed Frederick?
No. There's no wine that.
There's no wine? What's in the jug then? What is that in the goblets?
But
Bartleby's getting flustered.
Are any of us nearby, or are we all on the other side?
You're all on the other side.
Probably visibly see Bartleby getting flustered, and just kind of moving his hands a lot.
Keep hold of the tray. I presume.
Yes.
So you notice the goblets go.
should I, guys? Should I approach and kind of help Bartleby out?
Are you asking?
I'm asking the other two. I'm there.
If he's struggling, then yeah.
Bartleby is normally good, but maybe you should mention that the wine isn't poisoned.
Yeah, I'll go and approach.
Okay. Approach. So as you
I approach from behind Bartleby,
yeah,
and kind of bow my head a bit.
Yeah, now you sort of like start to make your way out there, and as Bartleby sort of like stutters and stammers over that, as you approach Cyrus, the lead merchant who had his head outside, this will seriously impact on your fees, trying to make us drink poisonous wine, Mr. Bartleby. And quite frankly, we thought you were not that bad. And Cyrus, as you sort of like come towards the head, almost like turtle or tortoise fashion, goes like that as you appear next to Bartleby, who's quite shocked, I assume.
Yeah, Bartleby is probably still stuttering to himself, and it turns to Cyrus. They didn't want the wine.
Right. I just kind of shout, our apologies, Mr. Merchants. Obviously, we're here. We're just going to kind of tell you that it wasn't the wine. We found it wasn't poisoned. We're sorry, and we apologize for the inconvenience of having to deal with us.
Yeah, mate.
And our anger.
Are you truly apologetic? Is Cyrus really apologizing? Even because I was just thinking earlier on, you were saying that.
No, he thinks they're dumb as hell.
So in which case, roll a deceit roll.
Would I be able to augment
with your deceit?
With my deceit and say, yes, Amriel showed us the truth.
Okay then. So what's the augmentation of your?
I've done that third. I've got a 39 on deceit. That was a lie.
I'm dying to know. I think 8% goes onto your skill, Cyrus. So in the skill where it says the temporary column, you can add 8 to it, and it'll just adjust your skill, and then you can roll it. So you don't need to add 8 once you've rolled it. It goes on beforehand. Right. Yeah, and you hear from within. Your apology accepted.
I was wondering if we could offer our gratitude and maybe together bring this behind us, bring this turmoil behind us, or confrontation.
We will sleep on it and consider this. Mr. Cyrus, I suggest you leave while you are actually ahead.
Ooh, okay. Sorry for the inconvenience. You guys have a good night.
Then, should I ask for another deceit roll?
Jesus.
No, we'll carry it across, and you sort of like come back to your party, and at this point, darkness is settling in, and Hazra, you notice somebody walking across the bridge off to one side. You roll a perception roll for me.
A 42.
Yeah, by the way they are walking and carrying themselves, you figure it's somebody really familiar with the terrain, really familiar. This is obviously their environment, and you're pretty sure that it is a female. Even though she has a cloak on, you know, the way she walks, the way she, her hips are massive. Yeah. Okay. And she's got boobs. Okay. So,
game over, man.
Those things.
And she's about halfway across the bridge.
And we're all still together here?
Yeah, you're all
if
still.
We are, I'll quickly nudge Hengist and Cyrus, who are closest to me. And say, is somebody coming across the bridge?
Just on this, where do we want to put Frederick? He's still out with a guard guarding him. Do you still want him there, or are you putting him somewhere?
Put him out, I suppose.
Yeah, maybe tie him to a post or something.
I think he needs to be tied. He's been cured. The light of Amriel is
the only reason I'm asking is that you were saying before that if anybody else can hear you, so I think we need to move them out the way or put them somewhere. I mean, they can literally be like over here, if you wish. That's absolutely fine.
Near the bear.
Yeah.
Well, let's keep him tied up until we can question him once he actually wakes up, just in case.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so Hazra, you see this.
Did somebody come across the bridge?
All right. It's not really our bridge, so we can't really stop people from crossing it, but maybe we can approach and say salutations.
It's true. They seem very confident.
Confident, right.
They've been here before.
So they know what they're doing.
Where is the bridge? Sorry, is the bridge this way? Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Hazra will. These are all bushes, aren't they? So he will move into the bushes along the side of the bridge. Is that right?
Yeah, that's on this side. That's absolutely fine. If anybody wishes to do anything, you're going to have to do it quick because she's coming to the end of the bridge. So Hazra's dived into a bush. Just roll your
right there.
Just roll your stealth,
Certainly.
Hazra, so we can see how well you're hiding. Ooh. Not the best. Not well. It's just a standard roll, so 31 out of 78, which is about halfway. You know, so that's fine. Cyrus, you're stepping up to meet the woman. Hengist and Bartleby, what's going to be your plan?
Hengist will probably be standing a few meters behind, or standing a bit behind Cyrus.
Yeah, so you just move yourself to where you're going to be. And what about Bartleby?
Probably is going to stay behind Hengist, but yeah, just stay a little bit behind Hengist. I probably can't touch him, but because I'm expecting combat to break out some.
So are you happy where you both are at the moment?
Probably about like this would be the rough. What I was thinking.
Okay. So Hengist can sort of like, if Hengist moves sort of like here, then that'll do it. Right. I'm just going to move you all back slightly. So there's room for the woman to appear on the map. In front of you, Cyrus. And she sort of like appears. Not out of blue, she sort of like saunters up, and as she gets close, she sort of like releases the cloak at the front, so it sort of like falls to either side, and she seems to be equipped. She seems to be wearing armor of some description. You're not too sure from this distance. It doesn't look metallic. Probably more leather or rigid leather. You also notice that she does have a belt on, and you can see that there's 2 hilts on either side. The scabbards do not look straight; they look more curved. They could be scimitars, they could be tulwars. Whatever it is, they're sheathed at the moment. And as she gets closer to you, she drops her hood down to reveal a shock of red hair that sort of like cascades down around her. And she has almost like sun-kissed skin. She's not pale at all. She obviously looks like she's used to being outdoors. I'm just making a roll for you all. Yeah, and as she sort of like walks past you, Hazra, she sort of like comes up to Cyrus, and she sort of like looks at you and says, "And you are?"
Hi, stranger. My name's Cyrus. Welcome to our camp. Is there any assistance we can give you or something, or directions we can show you?
Well, I was actually looking for the man who's lurking in the bush. Since my perception roll is a critical.
I point at Medevac and...
As will raise his spear and step forward and say, "Well met, milady.
Yes.
How can we help you?"
Well, it's probably more of how I can help you. Yes. And she sort of like reaches inside her tunic on armor, and she plays with something quite almost like unconsciously, and brings something out while looking at you, Hazard. She brings something out, and she can you roll your skill that has to do with the signs?
Oh, do you know what? I will use a point of luck
to re-roll
this.
Yeah, go for it.
It sounds, yes. Oh, well.
Yeah. And she sort of like seems to do some hand signals to you, and you sort of like, and then she sort of like reveals the medallion, the necklace that she has on, and you can see that at the end of it there seems to be some kind of insignia that seems to be some kind of falcon or bird of prey. And she sort of like looks at you and as if to say, do you not understand? And the finger actions you didn't understand at all. And she turns to Cyrus and says, could I be a dreadful bore and ask just to have a quiet word with Hazra?
Hazra's his own man. You can do whatever you want. I'll bow towards him and just kind of walk away.
Oh, thank you. That was very kind and considerate.
Hazra seen her play with
Sorry, I moved.
We'll grab his necklace and start playing with his jaguar tooth, and he'll pull it out and then put it back again.
Okay, and she sort of like signals quite almost like, not aggressively, but almost like commanding.
Yeah.
And she sort of like goes, as if walk with me. And she sorts of starts to talk, and she's talking in quite hushed tones as you walk over the bridge to the other side. And I'll come back to what's before we have that. Tell me what's actually happening in the camp. So Cyrus and Bartleby and Hengist, you're going to be are you going to start setting up watches? It's starting to get dark now.
I'm going to approach the mercenaries and then figure out who's going to be at which hours of the watch. Okay,
is the plan like last time to guard in partners, one of you with one of the guards?
Yeah, guard and partners for 2 hours each.
Okay, then. And can you just put on your counters, on your tokens, who's going first and who's going second? So if you click on your token and do the little circle with all the coloured dots on, and then hover over the dot that you want, and then press the number, and it will appear. Look, Bartleby's a pro now. Jesus.
Yeah.
I'll just be 1.
I want the best moonlight.
So pick a colour and then don't click it. Are you in the right thing? You found it?
Yeah, I think so. I put 1 and then
just hover over the colour token that you want.
Oh, okay.
Just hover over with the colour token and then press the button.
All right, press 1.
No, you're in the wrong place.
Oh, sorry.
Can you see there's 2? I can see where it's come from now. Can you see there's 2 white circles, one with a cog on and one that click on the not the cog one. And if you press that, a series of buttons will come up.
Got it.
And then just pick a colour, point at it, and click the number of the watch you're going to be on. So hover over it and click. There you go. Brilliant. So we've got 1. So so Hazra, you will be down to number 3. You will be 3. Okay, then, so you start to organise the camp ready for nightfall, and Hazra, you walk along with this woman to the opposite side of the bridge, and she's rather halfway over before she starts talking to you, and even then it's in quite hushed tones, and she says, do you know what this place is?
I did not, madam. I did mean to go to see my master before I came here to find out about this place, but I didn't get time.
It would be rather sensible for you to actually, although we might not have told you what to do, it was probably a good idea to get at least the background knowledge of this site.
But please inform me now, because we are here.
Oh yes, I've had to travel a long way very quickly once we found out that you had come here. I can tell you now that certain people in the Brotherhood are not pleased. Anyway, that is not for me. I am just here to mention the power that exists in this site. Have you never ever wondered why there has never been a settlement in this place? Ever?
No, I'm new to this area, so no, I haven't.
Well, we have records going way back in time, as does various other people. This place is a centre of power. Ley lines focus at this point. There's been everything from hangings to ritual sacrifices. It is well known to the Brotherhood that this place is completely unique. It is used by a whole range of people, animals, creatures. It is a place where power emanates.
But frightening. So why were there no warning signs or anything? There was just I crossed the bridge and there were these holes dug with bones in, like these mounds. And this, from what my friend Mr. Bartleby and Mr. Sarah was just saying, there's like a huge circle of glow of power around the bridge.
That's what I've just said. This is an area of great power. It should not belong to any one group of people. This is something that the Brotherhood has been protecting for some time. All this power, imagine this power being put into the hands of some hideous cult. What power would it actually possess?
Oh gosh, yes, this would tip the balance of nature in this whole area.
This is why it's been left how it is for so long.
So when these merchants were, they've been planning this for weeks and months now, and they've tried to build already. So is it been the Brotherhood, our Brotherhood, that's been destroying and
she looks she looks all to it. Do you have a passion for the Brotherhood?
I do not at the moment.
Okay.
No.
And she sort of like is quite shocked at that insinuation, and she says, "We are observers, recorders of what happens. It is not our place to purposefully intervene. We suggested to the merchants, suggested that your party would be suitable for this job, knowing that you would be accompanying them."
So knowing this, Melody, why didn't you inform me about the importance of this area? If you suggested our party to do this, you must have known I'd be there.
Exactly.
With no knowledge of what this area would be.
We assumed that you would gather that knowledge and at least come to us before coming to this area.
That is my naivety, because I had pressing matters with somebody tried to poison my oxen.
Yes. Dead rats, I think it was.
It was indeed, yes.
You need to understand something, Mr. Hazra. Your membership in the Brotherhood is extremely important. You are the guardians of such areas. We cannot intercede. We cannot ransack the place. But we do have the power to somewhat orchestrate some other means to happen. Hopefully by goodwill and, challenge and fair talking.
That is true. These are some things that I am good with, but I will try my best to live up to the Brotherhood's expectations of.
Yes. And can I also say that we are not the only people who know about this area. Did it not make you consider why now here at the Lonesome Bridge, since it's been here for some time? There are records of what's happened in this location. Everything from sacrificial hanging to monsters overcoming and fighting over this area. It is a protected area, and we have to make sure that it does not fall into one person's hand. What we really need to do to maintain the balance is to ensure that everybody has access to it, from those evil monsters who wish to do sacrificial and paganistic worshipping here to, well, the local bunch of hermits or druids that wish to come here.
I totally understand. The balance must be maintained.
Yes.
Yes.
And she stops at one side of the bridge and says, I am not staying, Hazra. I've been ordered to pass on this message en route to my next job. Please, trust in the Brotherhood. We have expansive knowledge at our fingertips. Even if we cannot help you with any of your quests, remember, we just might know something.
Thank you, Melody. And please, may I know your name?
Christabella. Although my friends call me Chris.
Thank you. I hope we will be...
Sorry, I said my friend called me Christabella.
Sorry, Christabella.
Yes,
I hope we'll see each other soon.
Sleep well and see what you can do. Remember, armament and fighting is not usually our way. Try to be seductive, secret, manipulate. I am sure you have a very powerful influence skill that you can use to very good usage here. And she turns to one side and she heads towards the forest, and she makes a sign again with her hand as well. Your skill. Do you have any luck left?
Yeah, no, I don't.
She seems to do some hand signal. You sort of like look at it and just smile and nod. I don't know. It looks something like this, but you have no idea what that means. Are you planning on going back to the camp?
Yes, I want to particularly isolate Bartleby and Cyrus.
So you want to exclude Hengist?
No, Hengist is there, brilliant. But my primary thing is the magic use, because they would understand more, be able to tell me more about these things as well.
Yeah. So you return to the camp. They're just organising who's going first, who's going second. Do you want to get Hengist to go off somewhere, or
no? If Hengist is there, that's fine. It's just if they were separated. I don't know if they were together or separated.
No,
if they're
together,
all still
that's fine.
Yeah. And I want to talk to. I want to basically say about the ley lines, and this is a seat of power. I've been told this is a seat of power, and that no one person can control it. It should be open for everybody, and we need to find a way to. Well, let's do the voice. We need to find a way to stop these merchants from trying to control this area. It should be open to everybody. So we need to dissuade them from building here. And either maybe going back to Lindo and getting Count Bastian, who knows of us, to make this maybe a no area of building, if we can explain to him, since he's seen the demon appear in his throne room. Just maybe say to him, this place must not be built on. It is a sacred ground. It must be kept that way. And I know with you, Bartleby, being a man of Amriel, and
what is Bartleby's influence skill?
It should be really good. It should be like 1,000.
It's a 51, and my oratory isn't much better. I've been practicing.
Yes.
I'm just wondering, though, in this party, 51 might be the highest.
It probably is the highest. Yeah.
I think it beats me by like 10 points.
Beats me by 14. So.
No, it beats me by 3 points. My influence is 48.
Oh, and we've said it's been a source of mighty prowess. And then we have Hengist here, a man of the guard, who is a man of influence now in this.
So Bartleby, you're probably being elected as the party's face as well. Just
just a pretty face.
I guess my problem is that I am not so certain that others who can't see the light and the lines and the energy, I can't say that they will understand.
Or believe us.
That's, mostly,
But Miss Count Bastian has seen the things appear in his throne room. He knows we
I
do
don't
not.
think.
If we give warnings, he knows we do not exaggerate these things.
Well, here's about the merchants. The merchants have a financial stake in this, and they're not going to give it up based off of what we're telling them of the nice heebie-jeebies of this place.
But do
So, go
they?
ahead.
Sorry, but do they? Because it seems to me that since we've been on our way here, somebody has been trying to stop them from reaching here. But these merchants seem to have a single-mindedness of wanting to create something on this area. Maybe there are some kind of secret cult, or maybe just merchants. Who knows?
The Merchants Guild owe us a favor, though.
They do. This is very true.
This is true.
They owe us a favor. Perhaps this is the best way to spend that. To demand this place be left alone.
What if they don't just go for the favor, though? What if? I hate to say this because I'm running out of money on my bar tabs, but
I thought you were going to say luck, Dan. I'm running out of luck.
I'm running out of money on my bar tabs, but maybe we can forfeit our share of the money if they decide to not build here. Hate to say that.
I guess I meant go above the head of these merchants and go to the guild mistress to get our favor, make it a guild-wide decree.
But how would that make it long term? We need to make this official. We need to make it long standing. It needs to be made like a national heritage.
The guild wouldn't want to go against the guild mistress, so long as she's still in power.
Don't forget the craftsperson people.
To be fair, the craftspeople are doing this because the merchants are doing it.
Yeah, they can.
It's like
craftspeople are paying, or the merchants are paying the craftspeople to do it.
Yeah, well, they don't be left out of the profit, basically. So yeah.
Is there something we can do to maybe falsify, maybe make them fearful of building here?
You tell Count Bastian that there are monsters out here. I'm sure he would trust a soldier man.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is the way forward. I think we should tell these guild people and the merchants and the merchants and the crafters that we are going to see Count Bastian. This is sacred ground that should not be built upon.
Can you all make perception rolls for me? I often think as a GM that whenever the GM says roll perception rolls, you automatically think something is going to happen, no matter what. Oh, who is a
I'm like,
right. Bartleby's deaf to the world. Hazra hears it. So does Cyrus. I got Hengist's.
No, sorry, I lost about 45 seconds of audio.
Oh, so yeah, so just
no idea what happened.
Just nothing happened. You're just about to die, but just roll perception to see whether or not you can see the arrow.
Duck!
To make it.
Oh!
Never makes perception rolls.
Look, what are the odds of that?
That is
the same
I lost audio in real life, so
we are on our feet tonight.
Yeah. Anybody who made their perception roll can hear a rather subdued voice going, "Hello, hello, hello." You figure out that it's coming. Anybody who got, especially with the crit, it's definitely coming from down here. The fire's only slightly burning now, but you know it has got dark as you've been having your discussion, and as you discuss it, you hear this, "Hello, hello."
I think our prisoner has regained consciousness.
Bartleby, would you like to come with me and talk to the prisoner?
Yeah, I'm happy to keep the prisoner safe.
Let's approach the prisoner and see if we can.
Okay, yeah. So
If he knows who, if he saw, what he remembers before he.
yeah, so move yourself down. Who's going to go and question him? Cool. And he's sort of like, Hazra and Hengist, what are you going to be doing?
I'm going to be sort of hanging back near the fire and just generally watching out.
Okay.
While keeping earshot as well.
Yeah. Okay then.
Angus to do the same, but he'll probably put a couple more logs on the fire to keep it going, because
okay.
if, we're going to need light for campsite duty.
Yeah, very good. Yeah. So Cyrus and Bartleby, you get over to Frederick, and he sort of like has managed to sort of like sit up somewhat, but his hands are still tied, and he sort of like looks at you both and says, "Is it possible for me to be untied?"
Yeah, let's. You okay though? You're not feeling iffy. You're not feeling.
I feel fine.
Like you want to hurt somebody.
I feel that my wrists will take some time to recover after these ropes have been digging into my wrist for several times, and I have a splitting headache.
Sorry, you think you fell on your head?
I fell on my head. Where?
Yeah, you're just you're very belligerent earlier. I'll go ahead and untie him a bit.
Yes, he says, well, this has been the first time I've ever woken up being tied up. I can safely tell you that.
I think you got a little too intoxicated, or a little earlier when you drank some of that wine.
Oh yes, it was quite powerful stuff.
It happens to the best of us. Now, I have a question. Do you remember anything before you drank the wine?
I remember having an evening meal at Lindo, and then traveling for some days here. Yes.
Anything right before you ingested the wine?
I remember drinking it.
You remember who poured it?
Myself.
Okay. And
I had this unbelievable quenching thirst to quench. And I remember even before we started to eat, I thought, the dryness of my throat is quite harsh.
Okay. Now, were the other merchants, were they interested in drinking as well? Were their glasses already poured as well?
We were all. I mean, the wine was brought in. It was placed down in front of us. We poured our own.
Okay, so that's the question. Who brought it in?
One of the mercenaries, of course.
Thank you very much. You know which mercenary specifically? Can you point them out?
And he sort of like looks around and says, "Sorry, where are they?"
Should I roll another perception roll to see if?
Well, you sort of like the guard that you left with Frederick. The mercenary's not there.
Interesting.
He's not there at all, and you sort of like have a quick look round the campsite, and you can't see head or tail of them. They don't seem to be in the firelight from the fire. You can't see them at all. There is their tent. They might be in there.
I'm going to help up Frederick, and I'm going to kind of help him walk towards the fire.
Yeah, and as you sort of
get
and you sort of like take him over to the fire. And at that moment, just as you get in there, the head appears through the tent once more, and somebody says, "Did I hear the voice of Frederick? Frederick! Freddie, you are well." He says, "Yeah, I am very well. Why would I not be well?" "Well, you went a bit, lunatic. You know, you were waving a dagger around as if you were stabbing. Oh, please say I didn't kill anybody. I don't think I could cope with killing people and having these scars around my wrists from the rope that was tied extremely tightly, he says, sort of like looking at Bartleby and Cyrus. And the guy in the tent says, are you coming to bed now? And Frederick sort of like says, well, these people tend to be leading me to a fire. I'm not too sure what their purpose is at all.
We're just getting him into the light so that way he warms up because it's a cold night.
Oh, we have plenty of blankets in the tent. He can come and snuggle in here with us. There would be no doubt about that.
All right. I'm gonna help him to the tent.
And he sort of like looks at you and says, thank you, Cyrus. You are a very thoughtful and caring man. And Frederick pops into the tent. And the merchant who has his head out sort of like brings Frederick in and sort of like looks at both Cyrus and Bartleby and sort of like goes, thank you. And just sort of like closes the tent behind him. Yeah, what would you like to do?
All right, I tell the other two what we heard, and that the wine was brought in by a mercenary.
Right, and you said the mercenaries have disappeared.
Or they might be in their tent.
Let's go check, and then Hengist will stand up and start striding towards the guards.
I'm gonna have my glaive in my left hand.
Okay, move Hengist to the tent. Hengist, what are you going to do? Are you going to knock on the flap? Are you going to barge in? What's going to be your...
He will...
the rest of you move your tokens to where you are, yeah.
He'll well, you can't knock on a flap, but he'll sort of make his presence known. He'll say, Hengist, is anybody in there? I'd like to have a chat about the guard rota. And then wait for a reply. And then if there's no reply after like a 30-second sort of pause, he'll just pull up one side of the flap and take a half step in so he can get inside.
Yeah, so you walk inside and it seems to be a quite strange what you see. There's several, obviously some kind of sleeping beds or some description in there. But you also notice that there's what appears to be 5 almost like small chest-like, sort of like this, almost like half a meter wide, not very deep, but you notice that they're dotted around and some of them are open and some of them are shut. But there definitely seems to be one coffer, one chest, for each bed.
Okay.
Apart from that, the light from the fire sort of like illuminates the inside of the tent to some degree, but the tent is empty.
So Hengist will turn his head over his shoulder and say, speak to Cyrus or whoever's behind him and say, they're not in there.
I think we might have found our culprits. I think it's weird that they would disappear without mentioning anything, and I'm pretty confident that they somehow disappeared right when our witness woke up. So
I can't believe that man we set to guard the witness left him.
Yeah. How dare he? So, at least now you know who we were looking for. It would be very odd if they weren't culprits at this point.
Perhaps we should check on the craftsman, just in case.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right.
So Hengist will then...
Okay, so you're leaving the tent,
make his way towards...
Are you leaving the tent open or...
He'll leave it. He'll leave it untied. Yeah.
Okay, but still open, not so like pulled back or anything. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
He'll leave the flap open.
Okay then. Yeah. Who was going to the crafts person?
Hengist is making his way over there.
Okay.
I'll be right behind him.
Okay.
What Haz would like to do while they're doing that, he will go to this bush over here, and he wants to keep an eye on the bridge. He's more concerned about where these guards have gone, and he thinks that's probably the possible exit they've gone to.
Okay. Yeah. So Cyrus and Hengist, you're going up. And what's Bartleby doing?
Bartleby's going to follow them. Oh, that's weird. I can move the fireplace.
I think everybody can move the fireplace.
I did. I kept trying to move myself, and I kept grabbing it. I'm coming up behind them.
Closer.
Say again, sorry.
Come to me, fire.
Yeah, so you get to the craftspeople tent and sort of like say, hello? Hello? And there's muttering from inside and somebody says, who is that?
It's Hengist, Cyrus, and Bartleby.
You're not coming into our tent. We're full.
No, we're
Just checking on you.
Oh, yeah, consider us checked. We're fine. Is there anything we should know about?
No, just go sleep. If you happen to see any of the mercenaries, can you give us a heads up? I think they're out on a little hunt.
Cyrus, just roll a deceit roll for me.
All right.
Because that's definitely bending the truth, I think.
Oh, where is it? Sorry.
Oh!
So where are these ones?
It's,
Roll
3 in a row.
20s, Fubard.
it's I don't know, something's wrong. Look, there was only an 8 in between all of those 3 rolls.
Yeah.
Just roll it again, just in case.
That
No, I want to save it for when we need it.
I feel that I need to do a roll just to see whether or not it's not.
Yeah, you rolling at 100, please.
Save it for your endurance roll.
Hang on a minute.
I hacked roll 20.
I just want to see what. Oh no, that was false alarm. That was its damage.
Beetle bite. Oh, I remember the giant fire beetle.
No, I always used to like fire beetles in D&D. Oh no, look.
Okay, it's fixed.
Yeah, false alarm. Yeah, the craftsmen say, thank you, Cyrus. It's really nice that you're looking out for us out there. It's really nice. We feel that we can sleep soundly.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you. Come to us or come out if you need anything.
Of course, Cyrus. Anything you say. You're a fine man. You're behind us working class people.
Yeah. All right. So I guess we'll head back to the fire. I shout out to Hazra.
Who's in a bush?
Is in the bush.
Are you hiding Are you hiding in the bush, Hazra?
Oh, yes.
Hey, roll your stealth skill.
Oh, me or him?
Him. Okay, now you can roll your perception skill.
Hazra, did you take your loo roll? She's sitting in a bush.
Yeah, you can see him.
Oh, wow.
I know. Wow.
Because you beat his roll by 5 points, so he's sort of like hunkering down, trying to hide himself, and you sort of like look over and say, "Hazra," you know, you can sort of like Hazra goes, "What?"
You see his spear tip just like floating above the tree.
Yeah.
Clearly, he's a man of magic and has many ways of seeing me.
Or I kind of make like a hush shout, like Hazra, Hazra, where is she? No,
Swear to me.
Swear to me. Do you see any footprints that might lead out towards the bridge that might be from the mercenaries?
Well, to be fair, we've been walking all over the place anyway, but I can have a look at the back of the tent where I don't think any of us have gone. And see if they've gone behind the tent, but this side, everybody's been this side. Could I have a quick look around the back of the tent?
Yeah,
maybe?
by all means.
Oh, I failed. 93 out of 92.
That's your perception. Well, you're not doing tracking.
I was doing tracking, sorry.
Let's go. Yeah,
67 out of 90,
there
sorry.
seems to be footprints round here in any case. There would be an outside walkway where the guards patrol, but you do realise that when you get round to the back of the tent, that this tent actually has almost like a false opening at the back, and it looks like it's sealed now, but you can see it was actually tied up. But then from the outside, there was an extra flap that came across the lattice, if that makes sense. So
It did, yeah.
from the outside, from the inside, it would just look like just tied up, and on the outside, it just looks like a blank. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a waterproof jacket where you put the zip
Yeah,
up and then you put a little folder over
exactly.
the top.
Yeah.
Are
you heading
Can I
back?
see any footprints leading away from this?
There seems to be footprints there that could be leading away. Yeah. But you
I
don't.
will.
If you want, you are definitely going to have some light source. You probably have got a lantern or torch with you now because you're so far away from the fire.
No, I will. I will go back to the fire and I'll tell them my my findings.
All right, I'll
There
go
seems to
with
be-
them.
Yeah, there
with-
seems to be an exit from the back of the tent which they may have left from, and there's some footprints leading out that way, but I find it hard to see.
Okay.
Okay, so as you're Hazra, you're sort of like retelling this to everybody round the fire. You suddenly become aware of something, and it appears to be torchlight. It's definitely torchlight, and there seems to be a group of people were walking very purposefully out of the forest on the other side and heading towards the bridge. You can see them because they are carrying flaming torches, and you notice that they're robed in what appears to be red velvet cloaks. You can also see from this distance that round the edges, they seem to be embroidered in some kind of shiny lettering or runes around them. They all seem to have cowls up, and although they're carrying the torches, they're carrying it in such a way that these cowls actually covered their faces. The only other thing that you really notice is that the robes are actually belted at the waist, and in each one of their belts appears to be a blade. It's not scabbard, it's not in a sheath at all. It's quite open and out of on display, and the torchlight is reflecting off them, glinting off them. They seem to be curved, but the most unusual sight that you've seen, and you are not sure if anybody has seen this at all, the cutting edge of the sword, the outside curve is not just blade, it's a blade, but it looks like teeth of a saw, some kind of jagged edged weapon. They're curved a little bit smaller than a scimitar, but a lot broader, and it has this serrated edge to one side. And like I said, they're not in sheaves or anything like that. They're on full display, and these 5 people are making their way, and we're going to leave today's adventure just as they are about halfway across the bridge, and we will leave it there because I think it's dead on 10 o'clock, and which would be a good cliffhanger ready for next week's session. I'm not going to ask you to roll initiative because you might not need them. So so well done. We are coming to the end, and we'll probably need a little bit more. I'm going to I'll have experience points ready for next week as well. So if we do finish the scenario, then think now what you would be buying using your experience points on. Does that make sense? So when we come to next week, if we've got a bit of time left over, then we'll do it there and then that's it. Yes, Mosh Shops 2002, definitely a cliffhanger, the best way to end an adventure. That or a nice lovey-dovey kiss or something like that. That's also a very pleasant way to end an adventure. So thank you to everybody who's come along and watched. I hope you've enjoyed it. I think the party have definitely found out a lot more about the Lonesome Bridge incident now. And they probably have figured out who the main culprits are. And some people might be thinking that they were correct. Others might be a bit narked or still hate the merchants no matter what they do. So yeah, so well done everybody. We will be back next week with the next episode of Mythras. I will be back streaming tomorrow at 2 o'clock with more tanking on Elder Scrolls North America server, so do come along and join me. Thank you to everybody who's put nice things in the chat, wishing us all good luck and excited for the next session, and thanks to the GM and everyone. Then yeah, thank you very much for coming along and watching as well. Until next time, please, I hope all your opposed rolls allow you to have a well-deserved special. And until next time, I will say goodbye and they will say bye.
I also would say that.
Have fun, people. Catch you all later. See ya.
Take care now. Bye.
This video is sponsored by the Design Mechanism, the makers of Mythras. Mythras is a registered trademark of the Design Mechanism Inc., used with permission. All rights reserved.